Great. First off, it's good to see everybody on a serious note. Kidding around about what we've all endured these last 18 months or so, it has been a trying time for all of us, and I'm glad to see all of you here, and I'm glad to see all of you healthy and doing what you do so well. I want to say to you that right from the outset, when I saw the list of wonderful educators who would be joining us this morning, I said to Jen and Colleen on our team, revise the press advisory and include all of these names, because this is really impressive. And part of me, well, I wasn't going to say the joke, but I'm going to say it. Part of me thinks we should all sort of invade various city agencies and clean that mess up. I won't say that they should send us to Washington, D.C. and clean up that cesspool, because I wouldn't do that to all of you. I respect you too much. But this is a really impressive gathering, and this collaboration is something that all of us should be really proud of. I want to start out with a thank you, because I have 64 days left in my tenure as an elected official. And these moments, as you see your time dwindling, these moments become that much more precious. And moments like this, initiatives like this, remind me of how much of a blessing it is to be in a position to impact your home community. But it's also, and I say this quite candidly, it's also a reminder. Being part of something like this is a reminder of what gets you through the madness, and why I, and I'm sure you to a similar degree, endure some of this insanity that's inherent in our chosen professions. We endure that to get to these moments, and I thank you for that. I want to thank you for the substance of today. But I also want to thank you because this is an opportunity, as I sort of look back, I take this moment as an affirmation, an underscoring, dare I say, a validation of the values we hold at Borough Hall and we espouse. I read a book recently. It's a phenomenal book. I don't know how many of you are familiar with a guy by the name of Joe Navarro. Joe Navarro is a former FBI agent, came to this country from Cuba as a kid, couldn't speak a word of English, and eventually became one of the premier nonverbal communication experts. And he's a wonderful author. He wrote a book called Be Exceptional, and he talks about lifelong learning, and he talks about building your own apprenticeships. And when I read it, I just smiled to myself, because I thought, all right, I was on the right track. And it's, through reading, through curating relationships and mentors, in my instance, and he mentions it in podcasts. And there's a podcast I listen to, Ryan Hawk is his name, called The Learning Leader Show. And his approach to his podcast is, you start out with a story and you hook them, you drop in a little of the science, and then you apply the science to real life. And that's the approach I've taken in the leadership course I've taught at Monsignor Farrell. You start them with a story, you hit them with science when they're not looking, and then you apply that, you make it real. So I want to do that this morning. I want to talk about the story, the science, and the application to real life that's got us to this moment. The story is, when I was a city council member, I was a micromanager as a boss. I was a hard boss, a difficult boss. And my micromanaging was a byproduct not of arrogance that I knew a better way, more of insecurity. And when we got to Borough Hall, as I matured in life and surrounded myself with this amazing team, I realized that you got to share this burden, and you have to benefit from people around you. And it's funny to look back now, it wasn't so funny during those early days. We had a real difficulty as a team figuring out the exact combination in those staff meetings. I tended to want more people because I sort of shed that micromanaging way and I wanted everybody in the room. And it became unwielding at times and there was some tension between and among us. And we struggled to find our equilibrium. But I love that dynamic. I love bringing different people in the room. I love playing devil's advocate at times. I love bouncing different ideas. I love hearing people with different perspectives and playing one off each other as I try to come to some conclusion in my mind what is the right thing. And that's played out over the last 8 years at Borough Hall. That's the story. The science. I cannot recommend this book highly enough. The Extended Mind by Annie Murphy Paul. And what this book says essentially is we are taught to be brain bound. Think about how many times you were told in your life or how many times you told a young person, use your head, use your head. I heard it on the playing field, I heard it in the classroom. My old man, to the day he passed, said it to me all the time, use your head. And what this book is saying is that in the complex world that we have today, you have to go outside of the brain. You have to get beyond brain bound. And what Annie Murphy Paul talks about is thinking with our bodies, which is sensations, movement, and gestures. Thinking with our surroundings, natural spaces, built spaces, and something she calls the space of ideas. And here it is for today, thinking with our relationships, experts, peers, groups. I want to read to you real quickly what I think is a really salient point for today. The trend now ascended in every industry and occupation. In order to carry out intensely complex work demanded by the modern world, people must think together in groups. The shift is easiest to see and to measure in the social and physical sciences, where contribution by single individuals was once the norm. Today, fewer than 10% of journal articles in science and technology are authored by just one person. An analysis of book chapters and journal articles written across the social sciences likewise found a sharp decline in single author publishing. In economics, solo authored articles once predominated. Now they account for only about 25% of publications in the discipline. In the legal field, a 2014 survey of law reviews concluded that nowadays, team authors dominate solo authors in the production of legal knowledge. In the familiar archetype of the solo inventor, think Thomas Edison, it's no longer representative. The 2011 report found that over the previous 40 years, the number of individuals listed as each U.S. patent application had steadily increased. Nearly 70% of applications now named multiple inventors. The point is, in this complex world, you have to think as teams. This is what we do at Borough Hall. And I'm really proud of the fact that you all know the name of the Borough Hall team. Across Staten Island and across the city, they know Rose Kerr. They know Ginny Montello. The mayor of the city of New York knows who Jason is. And that's what we have built. They are empowered, but not siloed. They are autonomous, but held accountable. They do vigorous, independent thought, and then they come together and they collaborate, and then they rinse and repeat. And as a result, they are creative, they are compassionate, and they are productive. That was 5 minutes, and we haven't talked about Concord. So you say, Jim, appreciate the book recommendations, appreciate the rant, but what does it have to do today? Well, that's the predicate for how we got today. And it's really where all of you come in. So Jason Rusevsky is my chief of staff. He is my brother. We have battled together. He is part of the architect of the legacy of my tenure. Jason used to travel to Borough Hall and pass this building. And his only knowledge of Concord, his only understanding was superficial, with some of the stories we heard, some of the negative connotations of yesterday. Jason was part of the architect and one of the architects of a cute little thing we did in the beginning when we got to Borough Hall. A lot of people heard that we said we're going to put a new emphasis on education, and they sent in their resumes. So we got all those folks, we invited them to be part of a task force. And it was like a working interview. And one person rose to the top immediately, Rose Kerr. And Jason has embraced the fact that education is in our blood. It is a core value. It is a first principle of Borough Hall. So Jason's reaction as he would pass this building on multiple occasions was, we gotta help. We should really help those folks. And so as fate would have it, a short time later, Jason and Rose are at Tottenville High School. They're at Tottenville High School because Tottenville High School is honoring another part of our team, Carmen de la Francesca, who is our capital budget guru, who I've worked with now for 30 years. And who is at Tottenville High School but Chris Anzalone? And Jason walks over to Chris, and Chris at the time is the principal of Concord. And Jason says, I pass the school, they start talking, Chris has some ideas. Jason called over Miss Marie and Rose, and we are off to the races. Now, that's a time when Chris is transitioning to a different position, and Mike Sobel comes in. So the idea is already born, but as Rose said last week, Mike made this easy. So despite the fact that it's kind of complicated, I'm not sure I still understand it, District 31, District 79 and all that, Mike made it easy. Okay, so Chris's idea and Mike runs with it. Now you add in Corey Prober of Co-op Tech, and we're off to the races. And progress is happening, and we're moving. And then COVID hits. And despite COVID, and despite the fact that the Division of School Facilities now has to get air purifiers, they have to measure every room, they have to make things safe, despite the fact that Mike actually had to ask permission to enter his own school building, the work goes on. And then YABC decides that we're going to bring the program up north to the North Shore to help our young people here on the North Shore get back on track and graduate. And then NYSED gets involved. Mike DeVito. I'm a big believer in emotional contagion, the concept of emotional contagion. Positive and negative. People impact us. I would love to bottle up, if I could, Mike DeVito, because he is an antidote to the cable news and the BS and the toxicity of social media. And NYSED is involved. Last week when we were talking about today, I took notes like I always do. Laura Timoney, who came on to be Rose's partner, our education dynamic duo, quote, everyone kept adding value. And Laura called Concord, quote, a hub to help people. Rose, this is one of the greatest experiences Laura and I've had with the school. They kept at it and made it happen. Thank you for that. For those who are watching at home, who are like, okay, Otto, now it's 15 minutes and you still haven't told us. The components of this Re-Envisioned Initiative are culinary, cosmetology, natural hair, design and barbering, graphic arts and carpentry. Additionally, also underway are the Young Adult Borough Center, YABC, on the North Shore, and NYSED, New York Center for Interpersonal Development, providing advocacy college and career planning, as well as paid internships to develop skills and competencies needed to be successful in high school, post-secondary environments, and thrive in the workplace. Adult education has also begun in October, encompassing high school equivalency, college readiness, and career opportunities. And then, of course, we reference it, the School of Cooperative Technical Education, which is a citywide program that offers students hands-on training in a variety of in-demand, cutting-edge trade areas. Thank you for all of it. Lastly, I want everyone to know that we also put our money where our mouth is. Again, it goes back to Miss Marie on our staff. $1.3 million, 900,000 of which came in fiscal year 2022, reallocating 400,000 of past allocation that now allows us, that fact that we are tapping into the previous 400,000 allows us to get into scope, so we're in preliminary scope. That old kitchen now is going to be completely redone. We'll have multiple kitchen setups. Man, that is wonderful. Finally, and I do mean this, I am 8,290 days into my tenure. It is 8,290 days since February 16th, 1999, when I was elected. This is a wonderful day. This is one of the best days. Thanks to all of your work. This is impactful. This is real. This is going to change lives and help some people. I am eternally grateful to each and every one of you. To all of you in the Barrow Hall family, I love you guys. To all of you in the education field who work with our kids every day, you are recognized and you are appreciated. God bless you for what you do. I'll have a bunch of people who are going to speak because I want Staten Island, who's watching, to hear from all of you. So the Superintendent of Access Citywide Transfer Schools, Paul Rotundo, please come on up.
Thank you, Borough President. I have the distinct privilege of being the superintendent for Citywide Transfer High Schools under the Access umbrella of schools. On behalf of the Chancellor, my Executive Superintendent, Dr. Timothy Lasante, and colleague superintendents, Robert Zweig, this is just an unbelievable honor. And as you heard from the Borough President, his team has been phenomenal in being able to make this a reality. And I can't thank them enough for all of their work. Rose, thank you. And Jason, thank you very, very much. On behalf of the students of Staten Island, this is an amazing opportunity. It began really with the idea and the brainchild of now Executive Director Chris Anzalone, who was formerly the principal at Concord High School, and has continued with Principal Michael Sobel, who you'll hear from in a few minutes. So I get the distinct privilege of being able to explain that difficult part that the Borough President referred to. I know it's a little complicated, but it'll be a little easier, I hope, if I'm clear enough. Under the New York City school system, we have community schools, superintendents, and areas of work around the city of New York. But we also have citywide programs that have existed for many years, and those schools and programs have come under the umbrella of what we call Access. And within that Access community are quite a number of different schools and programs, transfer schools being one of them, District 79, who works with P2G programs, YABC, Life, a variety of other programs, including Co-op Tech and Principal Corey Prober, who you'll hear from in a moment. They all happen to fall under the one umbrella of schools that we call Access. And with the leadership of Dr. Lasante, he's really taken a step in making the combination of rigorous academics and workplace learning opportunities a reality. And I was luckily enough chosen to be able to give you this little speech this morning, I think, because as a Staten Islander, I have come to know Concord for many, many years. And as a Staten Islander, I recognize that the building behind me is constructed in 1894, I believe. And I know when I went to school on Staten Island, Concord existed. It has always been here. It's been the alternative approach to learning because our children need avenues and opportunities. They don't all learn the same way. And some are able to take advantage of great opportunities that bring them industry-based experiences. And this is just a step in that direction. Concord has actually been at the forefront of that for many years. Although we've struggled a variety of years with some connotations of what the school does, the truth of the matter is this is a gem. And it's an opportunity that I am thrilled and honored to be able to provide to the students of Staten Island who choose and need to be here. And so without further ado, I'd like to turn over the microphone and welcome to your attention the principal of Concord High School, Michael Sobel. Michael? Thank you.
Good morning. Tough act to follow, but as Mr. Otto did a great job making sure to check our watches and ensure we're on time. I'll try to be as brief as I can. So, I just really want to thank everybody here today for coming out and really listening to the great job that we do here at Concord High School, because we really have worked hard to take those negative connotations and try to remove them and make this place a home for the residents of the island. So I just want to thank Mr. Otto for really making this a historic day for Concord High School. And thanks to the borough president and his fantastic team of directors, which you've heard, quite a few, but Rose, who really has been influential in helping this deal get this done with the borough president. So we really want to thank her and everybody who else was involved. Thank you. We really couldn't have done it without your help and support. Also to my predecessor, Mr. Anzalone, and the great leaders of our superintendency team, Team Access, for believing in me to take on that mantle and seeing this delivered. I appreciate that. And we really are proud to present Concord Re-Envisioned. So over the last 18 years, with the help of some of the most passionate and dedicated faculty of the school, we've really helped thousands of students to make their dream a reality and help them earn a high school diploma. Mr. Ansel and I would plan and dream of how we can help improve the lives of our students. So we knew that talking to our students and trying to force them into college wasn't always for them. So we wanted to try to find another avenue and get them ready to go to work. So we found different ways to prepare them for the workforce. And as you've heard already, our success is really developing the great partnerships that everybody here has come to help out and really create opportunities for our students. So in 2017, we really worked hard to put together our first partnership with NYSED, Mr. Mike DeVito, who has helped us out tremendously, and to create these opportunities for students to come up with new dreams and ideas for a life after high school. And then in 2019, right before the pandemic hit, we wanted to really go outside the box again. And thankfully, Mr. Angelo and I had that avenue with the borough president. And we were able to pitch our ideas to Mr. Otto and his team, who fell in love with the idea and thought it was a great idea for the community, the residents of the island, and to be able to really care deeply about what happens to their education and their career opportunities. So we all decided this was a great opportunity to help the students develop some kind of career training. And thank you to the Team Access, Dr. Lasante and Mr. Rotundo, and Mr. Zweig, for really helping us put together what we believe is great partnerships in YBC and Co-op Tech and adult education, because we feel it's everybody's right to get an education and be trained for a 21st century workforce. So I really cannot thank our partnerships enough and their dedication to us and the community. And we really want to welcome everyone to the Concord family, and thank you. I want to bring up Mr. Krober, who's going to talk a little more about Co-op Tech.
morning. Thank you, Mike. This is really just a wonderful day. I'm just so excited to be part of this. Clearly, we're kind of standing on the shoulders of giants with what has happened here behind us in this building, and I'm just really excited to be part of this this great project. I want to thank Borough President Otto and his team. I know he spoke about team, and that's really, as I look around and think about years of planning, what it's been all about. Executive Superintendent Lasanti, Superintendent Zweig, Superintendent Rotundo, obviously Mike, the building principal. We've all worked really hard, and we've worked hard to just get to this point, so thank you. I'm the principal of Co-op Tech, which is a citywide career and technical education program. We have programs embedded in every borough. We're really excited to be here in Concord, where we're going to start out offering cosmetology program, including natural hairstyling and some other components of cosmetology. We're also offering an introduction to building constructions, which would be a combination of carpentry, electrical, and plumbing. And we're also going to be offering, and currently offering, a graphic design and advertising and design class. All of these programs culminate in industry-recognized certifications. So between industry certifications and paid internship opportunities, we're really helping to build students' employability and giving them the skills they need to be successful. So we're really happy to be here in this part of Staten Island to help with that. We're also excited to have multiple District 79 partners in this building, including our YABC partners. We're joined today by Principal Matt Willoughby and Assistant Principal Mike Noto. And the YABC programs offer evening access for students to earn their high school diplomas in conjunction with work-based learning and paid internships. So it's a really great, wonderful program. And we also have the adult education program here, and that's supervised by Principal Mary Gibbons. And adult education serves students 21 years and over, including students with English language needs, ESL students, and they operate during the day, evening, and weekend, also with a career and technical education component. So with all of that said, we're really able to bring multiple programs to this community to serve students wherever they are. When I think about team and meeting kids and community where they are, we have to offer multiple opportunities. The days of just the 8 to 3 school day just doesn't work because of needs and because of the opportunities and just life that happens. So with all of that said, I'll just end by, again, thanking Borough President Otto, your team, our DOE partners, and this is just a great example of how city government and education work together to really do what's best for people, which is really what we're all about. So thank you very much, and it's really been an honor and pleasure to be part of this process. Thank you.
So the next partner we'd like to bring up to represent NYSET is Mr. DeVito.
Thanks so much, everyone. I think, first and foremost is to say the team here at Concord, Alan, every teacher, every school aide, every security agent, this team here, man, they just get it done. They get it done every day, and that needs to be recognized immediately. Every kid right now that's in this building, that's sitting in a seat trying to figure it out, if that's English, if that's math, if that's trying to figure out what they're going to do for a meal tonight, right? They're here. And we have this incredible group of people that have been thinking about them, and that is absolutely amazing, right? Also to say, BP, man, not just getting it done for like 9,000 days, brother. Thank you for being cool, for absolutely being cool, So we just don't recognize life's most significant moments while they're happening. Back then is what I thought. Well, there'll be other days. I didn't realize that was the only day. And that was the character Archie Graham in The Field of Dreams, right? One game he played, that guy, right? Just one time. We've had the honor as an organization to serve our community these re-engagement efforts now for like more than 2 decades, since like 1999. Since the advent of learning to work in 2005, we shifted that focus started working with young people to ensure that they had the essential skills to join the workforce. We've helped thousands of young people find their way through the tough stuff. We taught them how to learn and earn, which is such an important thing. This journey, which I have now been like 95% involved in, I think actually talking to anecdotes, if you dripped out some of my blood, I think it would spell YABC on the ground, man. You know, it's always been about adapting. It's always been about ever evolving, trying to find a way, how do we meet our kids' challenges today? We gotta be nimble, we gotta be quick, we gotta make sure that we keep them engaged. We gotta make sure that they know that they got somebody they can come to. I tell you I love you every step of the way, that we're here for you. That's what this building really represents. And in today's day and age, man, with all that they are dealing with, pathways to sustainable wages, family sustaining wages, a way to figure out to be economically stable, financially stable, economically mobile, how important that is, that's what this building represents. That's what each of us here is charged with doing. If we build it, they will come. That was the mantra, right? If we build it, they will come. And we are here today, not just because of the young people we serve. We are here today because, as we know, there is a tsunami of young people coming our way. There are so many young people that are walking halls, that are not in school, that don't even know that they need us right now. And in a couple of years' time, when all of this is really moving and is in motion and we're jiving together in a way that makes sense, it's going to make sense to every single kid that we are serving. So what we're really doing here is we're testing the bones of this old brick and mortar building. We're going to see if it can go another 127 years. I think it's got it in it, right? And whether or not you're here today to help us with funding, whether or not you're here to help us today with ideas, whatever it may be, we will continue to work together to ensure that we have everything in place so that when a kid shows up at these doors, there is nothing that we cannot do for them and there is nothing that we cannot help them achieve. So we got work to do, my people. We got work to do. Let's do that together, and let's be here for our kids. Peace and love. I'm thinking now we got a young person coming up, right? We do. Awesome.
Thank you. So we want to share one of our lovely young ladies who attends the school, Ms. Valeria Sepulveda.
Good morning all. I am a current student here at Concord and I'm very excited to soon be a graduate as well as attend the cosmetology industry program. I'm so thankful for Concord that not only is it a staff and it's also an environment that I could call family. It offers us programs and plans to the pathway to success. Thankful for that.
Our community associate who helps get the message out to the community, Mr. Carlos Feliciano. Ms. Otto, please.
Thank you for that.
I want to take this time to thank you and welcome you into our honorary family, and thank you for everything you've done for us.
Well done, Bob. Well done. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Anybody else? Is anybody else, we're this deep into it? Rose Kerr, want to say something? Real quickly. This book has been everywhere with me for the last 6 weeks.
No, I'm just saying, I don't want
This book should have its own Instagram page. Go ahead, real quick.
Thank you, Borough President. All I want to
No,
say...
don't thank me. Thank all.
Well, thank you for allowing me to say Concord and everybody else makes us happy. That's all I want to say. They have made us happy. And I've been gifted from the very start to be among children and be happy every day of my life, serving the children of Staten Island. And you know what? I want to deal with the more grown-up kids from now on, the older ones. Hope we can do more, Borough President. Thank you.
So let me just close out by saying this. Some of the Borough Hall family will live on under the next administration. You will have friends in them. I can't tell you where I will be in 65 days. My 87-year-old mother asked me, to the point where I told her, do you think that I have really good news that I'm holding from you? As soon as I know, I will let you know. My wife is asking a little more, with a little more restraint. But who knows where I will end up, but I hope that our paths cross again personally and professionally. And rest assured, if I'm ever in a position to be helpful to you, I will. I truly, truly am grateful to all of you for what you do on an everyday basis, every single one of you. And thank you for allowing us to be part of your family. So stay safe. God bless. Yeah, absolutely.